This is the part 2 of this tutorial, and you all would agree with me that any outfit made with Ashoke, whether 100% Ashoke or 50% Ashoke, however the percentage of Ashoke is never out of fashion and is always so elegant. In the part 1 of this tutorial, I spoke extensively on how I was able to cut this dress. In that part 1, I mentioned every measurement that you need to measure on whoever you want to cut and sew this dress for. I mentioned the quantity of Ankara you will need, the number of yards you will need, the number of Ashoke you will need to be able to cut and sew this dress successfully. If you are interested in watching that part 1, just click on the link that is currently showing up, or you can also check down the description box of this particular video you are watching. The link to the part 1 will be there. In that part 1, I stopped at the part where I already fixed zip to the back panel of this dress, and I already turned the neckline. I already stitched the slit of this dress. That was where I stopped in the part 1. And in this part 2, I'll continue from the cutting of the ashoke on the front part of this dress, the one on the neckline, the one on the body, the one on the sleeve. So that is where this part 2 will continue from. Let's jump right into it. This is the ashoke I used, and this ankara you are seeing is the front panel of this dress. So what I did was to measure the breadth of this front panel, and then I added 10 inches to that, and I cut it out from my old ashoke. That would be for one. So the breadth of the ashoke plus 10 inches was what I cut out. Then you also be folding inside the allowance you've left for hemming the down. In my case, I'm using 1.5 to fold the down. So I folded that 1.5 inch inside. Now you see this design on this front panel. It depends on how much you have slanted your ashoke. In this case, I slanted mine with just 1.5 inch, and you can see the outcome. It's not really pointy and bent. If you want it more pointy and bent like this, you should be using 5 inches. You will slant your ashoke with 5 inches. You fold it right side facing right side. You will understand what I'm saying better in a bit. So when you fold the right side facing right side, you are going to measure 5 inches inward on the part where there is no opening. So I'm cutting another one now. I just made that one for explanation, depending on how pointy you want it to be. So what I did was to measure the width now, and then I added 10 inches allowance. I cut it out from the hole of my ashoke. I folded into to right side facing right side, and then I measured 5 inches inward. These 5 inches that I've measured inward, you're going to slant it the way I'm slanting it now, and you will stitch across that slanted line. When you are done stitching across, you trim it out like this, and then you'll be using stay. You'll be gumming stay on it so that it's not tearing or pulling from there. Like it's not just tearing with time when you start washing this dress. So I opened it up like this and gave it a very good press, and then I just picked a tiny pieces of stay, and then I interfaced that part where the joining is. You have to interface it so that, and this ashoke that I'm using is like cotton ashoke. It's not even rubber. Now imagine if you have to use rubber ashoke. So it's just best to interface that point like this so that it's not tearing from there. Look at the beautiful outcome this ashoke gave me after making that stitch, and you can see that it's pointier than the first one. So depending on the number that you want to put on your front panel, in my case I did just 3. Look at the difference between the first one and the second one. The first one is still beautiful, but it depends on what you are trying to achieve and how pointy you want it to be. So I did 3 of this. I had to take it to a wider table so that my camera can get a wider coverage, and I did 3 of these and I folded inward. Don't forget to fold inside that allowance that you will use to fold the lower part of your dress. Don't forget to fold it inside first. You can just pin it inside before you place your ashoke on the front panel of your dress. So what I did was to make sure that the pointy part is sitting on the center. So I marked out the center on the lower part of the dress first so that the pointy part can be exactly on my marking, so that it's not shifting to any side with however inch. So after figuring out the middle of my dress, I place the three panels like this. This third one will be extended towards the round sleeve, like it will climb the round sleeve. I don't know if that makes sense, if my explanation makes sense, but you can see the way it's sitting. That's the first one from the up now. Is entering the sleeve already. Is entering the sleeve. So that's how it would be. There's no how you would do it. It has to enter the sleeve, except you don't want to put um gap between the three Ashoke panels. So this is what it's looking like when I was done. You can take it to your pressing iron and then you'll be using hemming gum to gum it down at random places first, so that you are very sure that it's not moving around. If not, you should also, if not hemming gum, you should pin it. So in my case, I pinned my, at the same time you can use hemming gum. Then I took it to my sewing machine and I was at the edge as much as possible and I stitched my ashoke down on my Ankara. My name is Oluwatosin in case this is the first time you are seeing my channel, and you're welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe, and don't just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when next I upload a new tutorial on this channel, because on this my channel I upload sewing tutorials on daily basis, both long form sewing tutorials and short sewing tutorials. I upload them on daily basis on this my channel. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always stopping by to watch my videos. Now, when I was done with the three Ashoke panels, I moved to the neckline. I just cut a straight piece that I made sure that is longer than the neck depth. You know, the neck depth I used, if you've watched the cutting tutorial of this video, is 9 in total. So I made sure that the ashoke is at least 6 inches longer than that 9, so that it can be extended downward, almost touching the half length. And then I marked out the neckline on the straight ashoke. This ashoke, I had to interface everything. The one I'm using on this neckline, I interfaced it. I put ST on it. But the one I used on the body, I didn't interface it. I only interfaced the middle where I joined. But for this one, Ashoke pulls and froze a lot, and I didn't want to take any chances at all. So I had to interface everything, as you can see. So I cut out for one side and I used it to cut for the other side. To stitch this Ashoke on this, you'll be piping it down. So I piped it down on, you can see I piped it down on the lower part of it. Then you remember that if you watch the part one, you will see where I cut the facing. This front neckline has a facing. So after piping down the down, I turned the neckline with the facing, and this facing I used hemming gum to gum it down on the inside of my dress. Now the next is to join the shoulder line. I'll be using this facing to turn the shoulder line to an extent. So I join the shoulder line right side facing right side, my two facing on each other. And what is next after this is to give it a good press after joining the shoulder line. And the next I did was to place it on my table again, and then I cut out the one that will be on the sleeve. For the one on the sleeve, definitely I use the ashoke width. You don't have to tamper with the ashoke width at all. It's just the length. So just measure the length while your dress is opened like this. Measure from one side of the sleeve to the other side, the length, and then cut it out. You can just add 2 inches to the length to be on the safe side. Another thing is you have to figure how much ankara you want to be on the edge of your sleeve. So this is it for the one that is outside. For the one that is outside, I left 5 inches before placing my ashoke, but for the one that is inside, I left just 1.5 inch before placing my ashoke. So this is what the ashoke is looking like at this point. I've not shaped it, but I've stitched the ashoke on the sleeve. Both inside, I left 1.5 inch before stitching the ashoke on the inside, as you can see. But for the outside, I left more than 1.5 inch. I left 4 to 5 inches before stitching the ashoke on top of it. So the next is to use just 1 inch to stitch the round sleeve, then down to the whole length of the dress. So you face right side to right side, and then you're going to be shaping with 1 inch or 1.5 inch at most. But around that round sleeve region, please make sure that you trim the allowance to the minimum so that it can come out neat after pressing. Then for the lower part of this dress, I used hemming gum to fold it inside. I just folded the allowance I added to the length. Please, if you need to understand the cutting of this blouse, check out the part 1 that I uploaded earlier. The link to it is down in the description box. If not, it will also be inside the box that will pop up towards the end of this tutorial, the box that is on the right. The part 1 of this tutorial will be inside that box. When you click on that box, it will take you directly to the part 1 of this tutorial. But at the same time, you can check the description box of this particular part 2 that you are watching. The link that will take you directly to the part 1 is there. If at this point you are still new and you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing. This Asooke and Ankara combination is so beautiful. Imagine that you are stoning this outfit to just be sparkling. If you have any question, please ask me down in the comment section. As much as possible, please help me share my tutorial amidst your friends and soulmates. This outfit is more than Salah worthy. It's so elegant. It's every occasion worthy. Every rich auntie needs an outfit like this in her closet. Thank you so much for watching, and at the same time, if you want me to recreate something like this for you, definitely just send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. My name on other social media platform is Asooke. On TikTok, you can also search for Sew with Tosin. It takes you directly to my TikTok page. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.